not appearance in this matter, same for the defense team. What was it? Joining will be joining us later. And watching brief, then we have a lot. All the accused are in court. Everyone appearing in fire zone. The four in the door. I've been informed that we have a new public representative to come. So I request the indictments of court that she takes.
Hello, Morgan and Jonathan. We are ready for the re-exam. Eric, we will ask you a few questions for purposes of clarifying issues that came up during yesterday's cross-examination. Yesterday, Defense Counsel asked you about information presented on page 1 of your report. I want you to clarify what is the source of information that you present on the report. My Lord, if I may pray for exhibit 31. Is his report. Again, for clarity, Mr. Kabega asked you specifically on items 1 to 7 under paragraph B. Can you clarify the source of information as listed in those items?
So the information is again on this 117A. Second one was started from that police matters.
Now, you were referred to your report, but also confronted with the report of the DNA analyst. And it was put to you that some of the exhibits, the specific exhibit 4, 4-1, 4-2, 5, and 7 are reflected as being in the ballistic lab on the same day. They are also reflected as being handled by your lab. Can you explain to court how that happened?
Look at these particular exhibits. Firearms are components. One is specified.
Load exhibit 4, 4-1, 4-2, 5, and 7.
Was explaining that these exhibits are
These particular exhibits are firearms are components.
firearm.
So firearm are mentioned. These particular exhibits examination is a bit other evidence. These were first sent to DNA before they came. And they are received at that on the 6th November 20.
Maybe clear on the 6th they are received by which lab?
Ballistics. Remarks about.
We are questioned as to whether your report indicates when your lab received these exhibits. You indicate internal movement of exhibits in your reports.
Not indicated in our report.
You indicate internal movement of exhibits in your reports.
We don't indicate in the reports.
Where is information on internal movement indicated?
The internal register.
For clarity, what is included in your reports?
What summarizes everything that I did. Carries all the information. My laboratory notes. Any other internal information that I could have requested for.
You were asked questions relating to the roles of technician. How does the technician come to play the roles that you mentioned?
technician basically does earlier it was a team that includes technician, both at the preliminary stage. That's under my supervision.
Now, council questioned you yesterday that you did not attach the technician's examination sheet, and therefore you denied the court vital information. Is that true? Why do you say it's not true?
Because my report contains all the information I was able to gather during my examination. Information from the laboratory notes, examination, maybe which I could have information from sister laboratories. All this is summarized in this report.
Again, we are asked whether technician signed your report. Are technicians required to sign your reports?
No, they are not required.
Why?
Because, like I said, technician is a supporting role. Not technically competent to sign all this information that I have.
Does me check if PID 38 is part of that? Yeah, sure.
Ijo abaigeni bakabuza endukiza ezinezebeke akabuza abaigeni bakabuza ijo hano ngoti a report yono akhezo wakaisasanze no abaigeni bakabuza agezeho utoleke ekisisani habintu ebyahandikire mu report ye yahirize habimu habikabuza ibabairi bamukabuza nti noha yalesere ebizikiti bino hati we yagarukamo akabifuna kuruga mu kansa mugambire ngu ebizibiti bino bikolekya nti bikaba mu labu ballistic lab na lab nti ono ali hano apeereza obujulizi. Then baamukaguza biki ebyabairemu mu bizibiti ebyo. Yagamba hakaba halimu emmundu n'ebintu ebindi. Baamukaguza omulingo ogubyahikire halaali. Yagamba obihika halaali bibanza kusindikibwa mu DNA kubikebera niho nibiryoka nibija hano omulaabu ye. Ati kanso yamukaguza oharaba hariho omulingo guno gwolekya ebintu endubata y'ebintu omu office yaabo, endubata y'ebizibiti abakuba endubata y'ebizibiti etayolekebwe mu report eno eyabaire nibamukaguzaho. Yagarukamu nti naawa obu baba nibenda kwolekya omulingo ebintu bino bibasire kuhika omu mikono yaabo bainagenda mu internal register. Then kanso yakaguza biki ebyabaire mu report omusajja ono eyayolekeza. Then yagamba nti buli kimu kyona ekibaakozere n'ebizibiti kiri mu report egyo ebaakumukaguzaho. Baagarukamu baamukaguza ekikaguzo ekikwatagana hariho technician obaina. Then bagamba we akora ebyo ebyamugambire akore byonka. Then kanso yagarukamu yakaguza ngo ebyo technician ebyakozere batabitemu mweno report. Then oni yagarukamu yagamba ngo tikiri kyamazima report eyaleesera omu kooti ekwolekya buli kimu kyona buli bwakaiso bwona obu baafunire kandi byona birimu. Then kanso yamukaguza bwaraba oli technician yatiireho omukono gwe ha report egyo. Oni yagarukamu ngo omukono gwe tigukwetaagisa habwokuba we ayamba buyamba kandi takwetaagisa kuteekaho omukono gwe ha report.
Derek, you were cross-examined as to whether exhibit M3 was among the exhibits submitted to you for examination. I want you to confirm to court whether it was among exhibits submitted.
Yes, it was.
On which form? Where can court find it?
Police Form 17A, submitted on 6th November 2023.
I wrote that is PID 38. Now, counsel asked you that you examined that exhibit without the request. Is it true that you examined M3 without a request?
That's not true because it's on the requesting letter, which is Police Form 17.
Sorry?
That's not true because it is clearly listed in the requesting letter, which is Police Form 17A.
Now let's clarify something about the gun. You were referred to your report yesterday.
Yes.
You are also referred to Prosecution Exhibit 6, which is the DNA report. You told court that the gun you examined, the one is one and the same as the one examined by the DNA analyst.
Yes, I did.
What shows?
The serial number of the gun is clearly the same.
You want to explain more to be clear, more clear to court?
The unique identifier of a firearm, just like a motor vehicle, is serial number. These two serial numbers. Now, the firearm reaches this country, given what they call a brand mark, which identifies it as having been registered in Uganda. This brand mark
numbers.
And he's trying to explain numbers. Doesn't have to confine himself only to 999. Because he's trying to explain how the numbers have the unique, how guns have a unique number, which is the serial number.
Yes.
That's all.
Saying my role, such as my problem is in the process examination, those numbers have been passed.
The numbers are being used to clarify about the
Yes,
numbers being the same. I think it's allowed. In as far as he's trying to show that the two guns, 999 and 999, are the same.
Yes, I don't know whether you understand my role.
I understand you. You have issue with him going into the serial number and into the unique identifier.
Which numbers never appear in our process.
But you cross-examined about the gun being the same or not being the same.
Yes.
And then he tried to explain that in the other report, the 999 as opposed to this 999 was HIV. I think it is important for us to hear if there's any other thing that can resolve this issue, whether the guns are the same or not. And if you can distinguish that by the identify, if there's an identified number which is unique.
So Derek, I want you to repeat again, and at Ben's speed, you said when a firearm reaches Uganda, it is given a brand mark. Proceed from there.
is given a unique brand mark that shows that this firearm legally entered into this country. This particular brand mark carries in it the serial number, the firearm, and an extra number that is issued this particular firearm by the Ugandan authorities. If you observe these numbers in the two reports, they are the same. Serial number and the brand mark.
So let's clarify something about the mosquito net that you produced and tendered in court. You said you did not examine it. So why did you provide it?
I had to account
court.
for, I had to account for all the exhibits that were submitted to me in regards to this particular case. The net was mounted.
And you told court yesterday you didn't examine the net because it had no request. In cross-examination, counsel put to your attention Police Form 17A, which was tendered in this court as the defense ID number 12. Can you clarify why you say didn't that the request was not, that there was no request?
As court noted yesterday, this particular exhibit was submitted 6 months after I prepared my report. At the time of submission, I was not personally made aware that it had been submitted.
Then let's quickly clarify and the issue that arose during Mr. Karuhanga's cross-examination. You said that the surest way to show contact that one of the surest way to show contact was by fingerprints.
Yes.
Is there any other way other than fingerprints that contact can be established?
Yes. DNA evidence.
Now, counsel went in a specific reference to the exhibit in issue, the pistol. In reference to the exhibit, the pistol, I want you to clarify what would be the most sure way or method of establishing contact.
If you look at this particular pistol, one, the pistol grip is made up of a very rough surface. And fingerprints are not easily deposited on this kind of surface, a very rough surface. Number two, if you look at
Sorry. I believe taking area which is going to, once the witness go into, getting into the surface and back or not, the matter to the level of any process. And it's here give clarification on matters which were maybe vague. So, my Lord, but we, as electors, relating to the surface. No, no, my Lord. There was a question.
You didn't ask whether there was
Yes.
ask that if you break it down, then
Just asked him if fingerprints are a good source. We didn't ask him if he gripped a gun. We asked him when it came to gripping about double gripping, how to shoot. But we didn't ask him about fingerprints or gripping. Yes, my lord, you can check that. And we did ask about fingerprints. I think my landfill is trying to clarify this. Those matters are rose in Mr.
evidence of fingerprints, one of them it says that
My Lord,
Not before the DSR. Started by reading the declaration, and then the DSR indicate that the individual was the first, then whether DSR on its own actually the clear is trying to demonstrate contact. Then Mariko contains this is given the witness is then given the pistol. Then the pistol has a grip handle, carrying the pistol, palm grip, palm with the screw, the quad force, and
my Lord,
says that
it arose.
at what point?
My Lord, my Lord, two issues arose from what you just read. There was a general question on the surest way to demonstrate contact. Firearm. Yes, it was before. It is up, my Lord. You even read.
Firing, just a moment, firing a gun requires a pharmacy. Fractured pharmacy. Trigger requires movement. The most natural tool are triggers with the index
My lord, at the beginning where you began from, Mr. Karuhanga asked the witness about the surest way to demonstrate contact with a firearm. My lord, that was a general question.
I saw the part where there was also if someone is standing within 2 meters.
Yes.
And there
Now,
was that.
now those were the specific questions that followed, but he opened that line of course with a general question to ask a witness to confirm whether fingerprints is the surest way to prove contact, prove or demonstrate contact with a firearm.
I think it was Mr. Ali. I have something here. If I held the gun without gloves, have my fingerprints.
I thought it was Mr. Karuhanga as well. And where you read first is where the issue arose. The surest way to demonstrate contact with the firearm. Fingerprint.
Yes. You're asking about, you see, Mr. Morgan, you're asking about fingerprints on the grip and the surface of the grip. Those questions did not arise.
They did. My lord, if a question is asked and it's a general question on firearm, he began with a general question without particularizing which type, which part of the firearm. Then he went into specific questions on the grip. So I have to clarify from where he began from. The opening question, my lord, it happened. My lord, you just read it at the beginning. What's the beginning of Mr. Karuhanga's cross-examination, where it is indicated the surest way to show contact firearm is a fingerprint. It's there. And then from there, then he went into the specifics about the grip, the posture.
My lord, we never asked any question to do with fingerprints on the grip. And to clarify it, my lord, just to put this in context, what my land friend is doing, with great respect, is not correct. What is happening, my lord, is an attempt to clarify the evidence of Mr. Mubiru. And I think it is totally unacceptable to use this witness, this re-examination, to seek to clarify the examination of the previous witness. And he made it clear that he's not an expert in fingerprints. And therefore the issue of fingerprints was one question, another department, and for us to now be talking about the surface of the gun, type of the work, I think it's really expanding the examination. The examination is a limited exercise. It's not a second bite.
Yes, my lord, you just read it. You just read it. If we can read from where Mr. Karuhanga began from, it will come out. Let's be guided by the record.
My lord, there is no dispute. What we asked was whether fingerprints are a good way of proving contact. My learned friend has asked a question for clarification, and there are other ways. The witness has answered. To now go into fingerprints on the grip, fingerprints on the surface, that did not arise.
Okay, I found it. Yeah. Let me read. Read from it. This is verification. Business and also show that something that can PSR on its own cannot show that a person nowhere PSR on its own cannot show that a person nowhere in my report will I show that I'm asked to investigate my touched surface of discharge. My report can be used to show anyone. My report cannot be used to show that anyone in this report. The clearest way to demonstrate contact firearm is evidence of my report contains info, ESR, and test.
Yes.
So we found.
Yes.
So,
Yes, that's true.
so the surest way to demonstrate contact with firearm is evidence of. I guess the question we need to ask ourselves: where on the gun will fingerprints? Yeah, because you say that if the surest way to demonstrate contact with the firearm is evidence of fingerprints. So
My lord, first.
where would the fingerprints be?
But also, first, my lord, we would seek the clarification whether fingerprints is the only surest way.
So
But as the witness was still explaining, the objection came. My lord, we would not be here if Mr. Kabega had not objected.
So
Because the
we
witness
have now
was
found
just
the
whining.
statement. The clearest way to show that to demonstrate contact with the firearm is evidence of fingerprints. That was
Yes,
what came up.
yes, my lord, if I may, that is exactly what came up in cross-examination. That's what we've been saying. We've been saying in our objection that we said the clearest way to demonstrate contact is a fingerprint. We never asked about a particular surface on fingerprints. And my lord, what?
No, but
As
what
a
is the
texture,
firearm?
as a texture of the surface. And then my lord, my learned friend Mr. Morgan has already asked the witness, are there any other ways to demonstrate contact? And the witness has already given an
The
answer.
witness
So clarification beyond that point, talking about surface that has a rough surface, has a smooth surface, full, I think all those sort of clarifications are stretching.
Perhaps you ask, let's leave the surface area. First, let us talk about where would the fingerprints be? So we're talking about fingerprints. There are fingerprints on the gun. So if a gun has been used, where would fingerprints be expected to be found? Maybe you ask like that. But it cannot be on the entire gun. It cannot be at the muzzle. It cannot be at the bottom. I think that is clarification.
My lord, I'm sorry, because here we are venturing into an area, me which appears area. I understand re-examination to be clarifying a matter which is left ambiguous or hanging. He has given us an answer. Fingerprints, sure is true. Other way, DNA. Now, if you go into the area of the texture handle of the gun, this is not the matter which came before
We have put aside the text. I have asked Mr. Morgan to rephrase his question. Not dealing with the texture.
Where was the
Yes, where would the fingerprints have been? Because a fingerprint, if I say that the fingerprints and someone asks, was the fingerprint on the back or the front? That is clarification. Because if the fingerprint is hanging, where exactly is the fingerprint?
not on the texture?
My lord, if I may,
Because that is not a matter.
And also, my lord, I think what really came up is that there are no fingerprints at all.
Yes.
So, from him, that's what came up. So I don't know how we can now clarify something to the point of academic. The witness has told us they are not, he doesn't have them. Yes. So we couldn't then ask him, okay, should they have been on the texture? Should they have been on the this? Because they are not there. So my lord, I think to re-examine even on things which are not even there. My lord, to re-examine even on things which are not even there. My lord is not to clarify anything. We ask the witness, surest way, fingerprints, are there fingerprints in the report? No. So if there are no fingerprints on any part of the gun, what is Mr. Mwaganya's clarification to bring in things which were not and my lord, may I know what it is. And I'm putting it on the record that Mr. Mwaganya is trying to clarify the evidence of Mr. Mubiru. That is what it is, and my lord, I am finding it extremely objectionable that he's trying to bring new evidence through this witness to clarify the poor evidence of a previous witness, my lord, and that's what I am completely objecting to. In fact, my lord, I want to put it on record that this is nothing short of a trick. I'm sorry to use that language, but that is precisely what's happening.
My lord, if I may, unfortunately, I don't have many words like Mr. Katanga, but the question that came up was if the fingerprints was the only surest way to prove contact with a firearm. And when you talk about a firearm, my lord, you're talking about the entire gun. And you're not talking about only specifics of this area or this area. You're talking about a firearm. So when the witness is explaining, we would want him to clarify the point why it may not be the most surest way of establishing contact. And he will do so by explaining on the components of the gun. And while he was explaining, that is when Mr. Kanga did what? Objected. So we have not got even the explanation from the witness. And it is fair that the witness is given an opportunity to explain. For Mr. Karuhanga to begin accusing us of wanting to clarify evidence of Mr. Mobiru, I find it very absurd. Because Mr. Mobiru was here and his evidence is very clear. So there is no need to clarify Mr. Mobiru's evidence. We are only trying to clarify what is here. And we should be given an opportunity to do so. We humbly pray.
I know we
Just a minute so that you review it at once.
Let me Mr. Karuhanga's objection. The objection is about the texture.
My lord, my objection is simple. The witness was asked if fingerprints are the surest way. He said there are. He was asked if there are fingerprints on the gun. He said no. So there are no fingerprints at all. What Mr. Mwaganya is doing is asking about parts of the gun. He's trying to clarify evidence because those questions actually arose. His examination in chief cannot now use this witness through cross-examination to introduce new evidence. My lord, re-examination is a limited exercise. It is not a second bite at the cherry. Our objection is the use of this witness to clarify the previous evidence of another witness.
Fingerprints. Fingerprints. And the surest way. Can contact with the subject. Yes, that is true. This question was, did you deal with any fingerprints? It's no, they were not there. There's not, first of all, there's nothing unclear about those answers. Because they were not there, although he admits that would be the surest way. Can't go beyond that. They are not there. You can't stop talking about where they were deposited. Where they the clarification, if there is any, is limited to whether or not there was fingerprint, and whether or not fingerprint provide the best evidence to demonstrate. The witness answer those questions directly, clearly. Well,
on record, or
Yes, I do.
do you?
When you went on record. And then I wanted to put a rejoinder to my colleagues. My lord, the rejoinder I wanted to put is what the law provides in a situation like this one. That's legal.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, the objective of re-examination is to clarify on any matters that prosecution believes were not properly or adequately brought out by the witness during cross-examination. My lord, we cannot be told on what we should do, but we are guided by you and the record. And the issues came up relating to fingerprints and firearm contact. And it is at that point that we feel the witness should clarify on why he believes there are other methods to prove contact and of this particular case. Because we want clarity to come in context of the case that we are handling. My lord, I believe that we are all here to ensure that the truth comes out. And the truth cannot come out if we are gagged on what to say and what not to say. Be that as it may, even if it was a new matter, the law allows that section 137 of the TIA, of the Evidence Act identified by law. Subsection 3. Re-examination shall be directed to the explanation of matters. Explanation, my lord, of matters referred to in cross-examination. And we have, and if the new matter is by permission of court introduced in re-examination, the adverse party may further cross-examine upon that matter. So we are trained in the alternative. That if it is believed that this is a new matter, then the defense still has an opportunity to cross-examine him on But it is our belief that it is not a new matter, and we're talking about a firearm. It is a gun, and it is don't see anything wrong with the witness clarifying. It's our humble prayer that you allow us, the witness, to clarify on that issue.
The re-examination on fingerprints of the firearm is allowed to continue on the basis of section 173 Defense Act. Defense may cross-examine on the same if they find that the new matter has been.
Most of them. Okay, Derek, come back to where we were. You had told court that the other way to show contact is by DNA, and that in respect of the pistol, made up of a rough surface, and fingerprints are not easily posted on rough surfaces. That's what I wrote.
He hadn't seen that,
My Lord, where did
but I'm sure it's what he's about to say.
Let our colleague not
Let me read
dramatize.
regarding the most sure way of establishing the most sure way of establishing contact, I put dash. The pistol grip is made of a very rough surface, and fingerprints are not easily deposited on such kinds of surfaces. And so I have not created that. That is what it is.
My Lord, he should have, if he was courteous, he would have apologized to that was my apology. Is ever boxing me and misrepresenting my professional standing. No, my Lord, that's on the lighter note. That's on the lighter note. But I'm sure it's not going to repeat. Okay, let's proceed. So, please continue with your explanation that you are making.
Yes, I was saying, if you look at the weapon, the pistol grip, there's a rough surface and it's not easy to deposit.
That's very clear. Is the microphone on?
And it's not easy to deposit fingerprints on this.
No.
The whole thing.
We want to repeat it.
I was just repeating what you've written, so I'm going to start from.
Continue.
Okay. So the other The other place that I would expect to find fingerprints would be the trigger of the gun. You have the pistol grip where you hold, then you have where you put the finger to pull the trigger. However, the surface of the trigger is too small and will take a very small portion of the fingerprint.
Derek ali hamusanze no abaini bamukaguza exhibit abaini bamukaguza exhibit M3 bweraba yabaire hali ebyo ebyaleeteibwe yagarukamu yagamba nti eko bamukaguza kooti esakubisa kooti bweraba hali ekusakubisanga yagarukamu ngu hariho police form 17A niho biri then bamukaguza bwaraba exhibit ekyo yaki examiningire batamusabire yagamba ngu nangwa abokuba hariho ebbaruha ekaba nesaba nti exhibit kino nakyo bakikoleki bakiheerezeho ripoti yakyo then bamukaguza ngu kanso yamukagulize ngu ijo bamukagulize gebageri bamukaguza ayongere kuolekyaho hamundu ngu agambireko ekooti ngu emundu niyemu eiba examininge nibakozese DNA niko yagarukamu ngu serial number eri hamundu abainakaguza omulingo abainayoleka omulingo ogubaija kumanyamu oba niyo egyo mundu eyibakozeseze ate otubaire tukyala aho bali baloya babaire batakenda ngu nibagamba ngu akuleeta obwakaisa obuhyaka so baitu omuramuzi yabaikiriza ngu bagende mu maiso ono ayongere kutwolekya hakintu kyebinkumu hati hamundu eno nibwo yalyoka yatugamba ngu emundu zino ziba zizire zitahiremu omu nsi ya Uganda hariho enamba ezibabaheereza kwolekya nti etahiremu mu miringo egihikiriire hati yagamba ngu enamba ezo enamba ekaba eri hamundu negyo enamba eyibagiheerize nizo zimu nibwo kanso yamukaguza ayongere kutwolekya eno akatimba k'ensiri karaba kabaire akatiremu mu report eyaheerize yagamba ngu atasobole habwokuba akatimbako bakakaleeta harabireho emyezi 6 amazire kuteekayo ripooti ye omu kooti hati bamukaguza omulingo ki ogundi okuba kusakwolekya nti emundu ekakwatibwaho yagamba nti ekinkumu nikyo kikusobola kwolekya n'ekindi DNA. Then lawyer yamukaguza exhibit kya pistol omulingo okuba kusa kwolekya nti pistol nakagukwataho. Yagamba hariho pistol hali ekwatibwa akaikaro ako kali rough kandi ekinkumu ekyo tikikusobola kwolekebwa, tikikusobola kwolekebwa like kigumangayine, so tokusobola kwolekya ngu ekinkumu ekyo tikikusobola kwolekebwa. Baitu hariho ahandi hano hali onyiga esasi lukarugamu, aho basobola kusangaho ekinkumu baitu kapati kataito ako ekinkumu ako kuba akantu ako kaba kataito ali banyigira esasi okurugamu. Ati ngira nibyebyo.
As opposed to first posing the question. I know that these people are my grandparents, so I eavesdrop.
So let's start with the we capture that response.
Derek, in cross-examination yesterday, you told court that the components you mentioned in the gun rescue report, the components mentioned in the gun rescue report are unique to gunshot residue. I want you to clarify it both. Why? So
The component that was identified, that is DPA or diphenolamine, has a number of derivatives. But the derivatives that were identified by the toxicology report are a unique identifier of gunshot residue.
you were also asked about exhibits M1 and M2, the DNA report, and it was put to you that they were indicated as replicas in the DNA report. And you explained to court that replicas would cause the same results. And for you, in your report, you found different results for gunshot residue in respect of M1 and M2. I want you to explain why the difference in the two reports, the position in the DNA, the position in your report, ballistic report.
The difference is in the two types of evidence. One, the body generates the same DNA. Is uniform. Two, the two types of evidence.
Saying one, the body
Generates the same DNA. Is uniform. It doesn't matter where you sample, this same body is not contaminated to be the same DNA. Now, when we look at gunshot residue, it is smoke particles that are deposited when the gun goes off. So it may be deposited in some parts of the body, and may not be deposited in other parts of the body. Because its distribution is not uniform. So it's proved that for DNA, this will be replicas. You have the same components, the same evidence. However, if I sample for gunshot residue, where it was deposited, it will be there. And where it wasn't, it will not be there.
okay. We asked about the prostitution exhibit number 4, which was the postmortem report. And the question as to whether the postmortem report indicated that swabs for gunshot residue were taken. I want you to clarify to court as to whether your report specifically states whether the samples for gunshot residue for the entry wound were taken by the author of the postmortem report.
My report does not.
Now I'll take you straight to the manual. My Lord, I pray for defense ID, the manual. There, that one. If I may have it. My Lord is defense exit 6. And you go to clause 9, 8, 9, and 10, where you were cross-examined. Clause, I wrote this, clause 9, 8, 9, and 10, which has the respective paragraphs 3.7.19, like that. Yeah?
Yes, I'm there.
So you were asked about clause 8, 9, and 10 with the respective paragraphs referred to by council.
Yes.
And the questions were as to whether you complied with the guidelines in those clauses, whether those clauses were complied with. The first clarification I want you to make is which method of gunshot residue do these clauses relate?
These clauses are related to the analysis of the inorganic component of gunshot residue.
Inorganic.
Yes, inorganic components of gunshot residue.
Is that the method that you applied in your examination as indicated in your report?
No, this is not a method.
What method did you apply?
The method we apply analyzes the organic component of gunshot residue.
Yeah?
Organic component.
So in relation to the cross-examination on the nature of the swabs, I want you to clarify to court by the method that you used, are swabs appropriate for use in the method that you applied?
For this particular method we use, that is the LC-MS-MS,
The LC,
MS-MS, and organic solvents. Swabs are permitted to be used, are allowed to be used.
and finally, in relation to the questions relating to compliance with that memo in your work, I want you to clarify to court of what value is that memo
This,
in your work.
this particular procedure is a guide to first responders and crime scene officers. This is also mentioned, it's written somewhere here in the menu. Yeah, written somewhere in the menu.
Where is it mentioned?
Right.
In the memo? In the manual?
It's written on page Roman 2 of the document, and it's a disclaimer. The documentation of this manual.
As a disclaimer.
Yes. And here's how it reads.
Okay.
The documentation of this manual was conducted by the Directorate of Forensic Services of the Uganda Police Force. This document is a best practice guide for first responders and forensic practitioners. It is not intended to create, does not create, and may not be relied upon to create any right, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law by any party in any matter, civil or criminal.
may return the exit. As we draw to a close, I want us to clarify a few things in relation to the questions we were asked relating to the handling of the gun. You told court that if you don't brief the firearm family steadily with a balanced posture, as you pull the trigger, you said that it can be dangerous. My Lord, I want to pause first to ask for the firearm as she interprets why complete the question. The firearm can be organized.
Inside the day, na visa kuolekyamo abaini bamukaguza aha ebisigalira by'amasasi habisigalira by'amasasi ebibarozere abaina agamba ngu ebisigalira by'amasasi bibaho nabyo enamba egyo bagenda bazaaho obuli okubanza hati abaini bamukaguza aha bizibiti ebya M1 na M2 nayorekya nti gino miringo eyawukaine eyo obwa kaiso ate yagamba ngu omubiri gw'omuntu ogwafiire guba na DNA eba neisana n'ebyo n'obwo ebisigalira by'amasasi obu baba batakwasire oba batategeerane nabwo bagenda kukora ku examininga omubiri ogwo bakasangamu nabiri ebisigalira by'amasasi ripooti ezirugayo zisakoraki ziba nizisana bamukaguza aha ripooti ya postmortem yagamba egyo postmortem report ekaba etakwolekya ebisigalira bino eby'amasasi abaire nagezaho kwolekya omulingo nabo ogubakozesa ebyuma byabo kufuna ezinu DNA so nibyo abaire nagezaho kugambira oti na report egyo yaheerize then yagamba mbu emirimo eye eri report ezo ezakora okusaba okwo kuruga mu police force nibo bamusaba akole kino ekyaba nakora ira ni hawo.
Yes, so you said that you don't handle the weapon carefully. You pull the trigger, it can be dangerous. I want you to clarify what you mean by a weapon being dangerous first before you demonstrate. Let's first put the weapon aside. Sorry, I will ask you what I want you to do with it. Okay. You do your thing.
Since I wasn't with it, I need to make sure it's clear.
You still remember the question? Ah. Eric, do you want me to repeat the question? I can repeat it for clarity for you. Okay. So my question is that you said that if you don't grip a firearm firmly, stably, a balanced posture when you pull the trigger, that it can be dangerous. What do you mean by that?
And if you look at this weapon,
First explain, then I will ask you to demonstrate.
I'm just showing. If you look at this weapon, it has metallic parts. And some of the areas of the parts are sharp. So if you handle this weapon,
Metallic parts. And some of the areas
are sharp. When this weapon is in action, these parts move. At quite a high speed. So if you haven't handled the gun in the right way, these fast moving, hard, sharp parts will injure your fingers.
My Lord, with your indulgence, clarify that point to court. I want the witness to demonstrate it practically. How that happened for court. Maybe I suggest you can use an object like a pen and you demonstrate to court how such injury can be occasioned on fingers if they were found
So this
or
is
left recklessly
okay.
in the course of movement. That's right.
When the weapon is in action, this is when it has opened, and then it has to move back. So you see the speed is moving. It has to close. Maybe you can put a pen and you see what will happen to it. The pen is all smashed up. What happens? So that's what it has done to the pen. That movement, sharp parts, capable of injuring the fingers.
You may return my residue pen. So now the thumb is free. And the slide is returned. It finds your finger. My lord, let's proceed. This is the last section of, I want you to make clarification to court. If we can keep away the weapon. My lord has to interpret.
abaire nagezaho okutwoleka omulingo emundu ekwatibwamu yagamba ngu emundu eno eina haloho hamundu eno haloho emyanya eri haloho emyanya eri ebyuma kandi einaho n'emyanya emu esongoire ate ngu bw'oba oli mu nkozesa ey'eno emundu yabaire natwolekya ngu emyanya egyo yoona erubata omu sipiidi ya haiguru ate yagamba nti bw'oba emundu egyo tagikwasire kurungi n'omulingo omulungi entubata yayo egyo y'emyanya egyo esakuleeta obuzibu ha ngalo zaawe nibyo babaire nibagezaho okutwolekya bateekamu peeni yakolaki yayatika nibyo babaire nibagezaho okutwolekya.
Now, Derek, during cross-examination, there was what I thought was a mix-up of your roles in this case, your role in this case. In evidence in chief, you told the court that you were a firearms examiner.
That's true.
Counsel took you to section 43 of the TIA, that law that we read, and asked you whether you are licensed by the minister as a ballistic expert. I want you to clarify first, what was your role in this case in relation to what you did in the report?
This particular case, I was a firearms examiner.
I want you to clarify to court whether firearms examiners are one and the same as ballistic experts.
They're different, but someone can have the same roles. Have all these roles.
You want to elaborate to court the difference?
Let me separate the roles. Firearms examiner
And this lot, this one,
examines firearms, their components. That's number one. Second, examines the functionality of the firearm.
examines the functionality. Yes.
Third, he examines whether a particular firearm has been modified from its original state or not.
Yes.
Finally, performs tool mark comparisons.
Yes.
Now, we go to ballistics.
Ballistic expert.
The ballistics expert reconstructs shooting crime scenes,
Fact shooting.
scenes,
Crime. Things.
analyzes bullet wounds, is involved in projectile reconstruction,
Sorry?
projectile reconstructions,
Is that
projectile
projectile? What?
constructions, the path of movement of the bullet.
Yes.
And the other role examines bullet particle distributions, those are the roles.
So during cross-examination, you were asked questions relating to the trajectory or movement of bullets, and you provided answers. And yet you said your role is firearms examiner.
Didn't provide any answers on trajectories.
Not.
No.
Okay. My lord, I can. I was just a follow-up question, and I can expand on that. And finally, as a firearms examiner, how do you come to play that role?
Now, the Uganda police underwent structure. It was commenced by the Minister of Internal Affairs. Headed by the Minister of Public Service. That established the Directorate of Forensic Services. As a directorate under Uganda Police Force. Now, I'm a trained, gazetted police officer. Who, because of my qualifications, was deployed at the Directorate of Forensic Services under the Department of Ballistics and Tool Marks as a firearms examiner.
nibakaguza omusajja Derrick omulimu ke gw'akola yagamba ngu niwe akebera emmundu. Yagezaho okutwolekya habwokuba hariho abakebera emmundu, then hariho n'omuntu akora aba ballistic examiner. Yagamba ngu tibakwisana, so yagezaho okutwolekya emirimo eyibakora. Yagamba hati nk'ogwo gwakora firearms examiner, akebera emmundu n'ebintu ebiguruho, narora nakebera enkola yaayo, nakebera oba hariho omulingo gwona ogubahindwiremu emmundu kuruga omulingo guyabairemu. Then yatugamba on ballistic expert agenda hari omusango gubaire narora ebihooya by'eisasi nakebera emihanda amasasi gano garabiremu, then narora na omulingo amasasi gano ebisigarira byabo okubinagirwe oba omukiikaro. Hati batukaguza omulingo onu Derrick obuyaizire kuba firearms examiner mu musango guno. Nagezaho twolekya nti we mu polisi atendekerwe kandi habwa ebipapura bye bakamuteeka mu department ya forensic services under department ege ya ballistic services nka firearms examiner.
I know that is all from you. We pray for 10 minutes standover to our next meeting.
My lord, you give us leave to ask some questions. Fingerprints? 5 or 6. And, we pray, my lord, that Mr. starts.
What's my right for the record? With your permission, because the last bit of his evidence comes in related to structure. That's one. This is a new area. Structuring of partnering and being voted. And this was the kind of prayers public service, and they created
fingerprint.
Derek, your evidence that as a result of structuring came firearms examiner.
What I said.
Sorry?
Yes, it's what I said.
You have no report in this court which you signed firearms examiner. And look at your report.
Same as an analyst.
You are not a fingerprint analyst.
I'm not.
You are not a fingerprint examiner.
I'm not.
Fingerprints carried out another department.
That's true.
Which department is that?
Department of Criminal Identification.
You don't belong there.
No, I don't.
You would not know how much sample they would need to verify lifting of fingerprints.
Wouldn't.
By the time Firearm came to your department, analysis, fingerprints had already been taken from college.
Sorry, I don't have. I'm not really that information. Sorry. I don't know.
I'm telling you.
Okay, I'm informed.
I'm informed that fingerprints can actually be lifted rough surface using what is called net powder. Are you aware?
Not.
I'm also informed that fingerprints can actually be lifted rough surface using casting materials like silicon casting. Create 3D impressions. Fingerprints. Are you aware?
Yes, this is technology.
That is technology. Yeah. It's possible. It's possible. But now I want Also aware that fingerprints were lifted from the net and the katanga.
I'm informed. I'm informed because I wasn't aware. Yes, me if I'm aware, the fingerprints were lifted. I wasn't.
Are you aware that fingerprints were lifted in the lake?
I'm not.
The head of it.
Yes.
Okay. I want you to also look at Prosecution Exhibit 32. The internal memo. I want you to confirm that the internal memo is a request for a gunshot residue analysis report.
Yes.
I want you to confirm that the results of this request appear in your report.
Yes.
I want you to confirm that your report, apart from dealing with weapons, makes conclusions about. I'm sorry. Ballistics.
It's
On the reorganization.
any matter that came out in there. And he's talking of, I think he's laying ground for the organization.
Yes. These are organizations. Some of these interruptions volunteer answers.
Just a moment. You brought out the organization. Let's finish and then we see. If it is something that offends the examination and the examination that has been done,
We are most of that.
let's first hear where it's going.
And your report contains information about gunshot residue analysis, right?
Yes.
I want you to confirm that you signed Prosecution Exhibit 32.
Which is?
The request for gunshot residue analysis.
Yes.
I want you to confirm you signed it in your capacity as a firearms examiner.
I sent it as the head ballistics at all.
Okay, so you signed it as the head of ballistics.
Yes.
Okay. Then on the fingerprints, my one question is the magazine is smooth as well, right?
Yes.
And you have to load it in the gun with your fingers, right?
Yes.
Okay, then finally, Mr. Chuma's question.
For the record, my lord, Jit, only good diversity to this man, but I have a fear of the gun. I want to request that you give this man the gun. Give it to him. Give me the gun. What about the fingerprints and that good and the experiment just performed what you pay? Yes. Just hold that up and perform exactly what that now. Would you agree that when you hold that, first of all, wherever you're holding it, wherever you are holding it, you have no grab, don't release. When you don't ask me, when I'm holding it, I won't answer you. Don't ask me questions. Answer my questions. I can't be a witness there. And you don't have that.
So you hold that
The way exactly, the way you are.
and then you ask your question.
And my question is, the way you are holding that gun, are you having, if you had no gloves, would you be depositing fingerprints on the parts you are holding when you are talking?
This part is rough, so yeah, I want to have.
Hold the gun the way you are and answer the way people be thinking. I know it's difficult.
It's difficult.
That's actually what I'm demonstrating. I'm demonstrating the difficulty. It's very hard because you must continue holding it. So that's why I'm demonstrating. So hold. Would you be depositing? Continue holding.
No, but you have made your point. He has held, so answer.
What do they
If you are
fingerprints?
holding like that, would some fingerprints be deposited in the handbag?
Yes, on some parts.
would those the same flat hard surfaces produce how fingerprints? And this is what they got. You train things then you can point it at the head so for safety.
But
It's
that's not what you want.
I'm asking the next question, my lord. When you are opening it, we are not hard, okay, I can hold it if it's like. Okay. Directly, you can do it in a month. I even locked, so there's even mechanism for locking. I don't want it to lock. Unlock. Unlock is thank you very much. Unlock. Now, do you agree that when you pull, if the gun had its magazine, immediately the bullet is chambered?
Yes.
Very good. So there would be no space where you put the pen, if there was a magazine.
Listen.
Immediately you pull, the chamber, the gun is chambered.
It doesn't
So there is
chamber.
no space.
It doesn't chamber. Listen. You pull, release, chamber.
No, but when you pull and you hold for long, you see you are able to hold for long. So there is no space.
It's not chamber.
So when you are cocking, there will be no space for the pen to go. The bullet goes in immediately you release. You get. Because the statement you just gave to God is simply a fact.
It's not a quarrel. It is process that you know.
I don't know what I am trying to tell you.
Allow the witness to answer.
Let the witness answer.
Ask if the witness. So ask your question. Allow an interview with the witness to answer.
Hold that gun. Immediately you pull and release. A bullet is chambered, correct?
Yes.
Immediately you pull and release, the bullet is chambered. So without and the cooking mechanism goes back straight.
Yes.
Because that's an automatic.
Yes.
Therefore, the demonstration just showed how to prepare. If that gun was cocked, it would never happen.
My demonstration was to show the quick and violent
Answer my
water
question.
physics.
Answer my question. If there was a magazine, that hole would never be there.
May the witness answer, my lord. May the witness answer.
That's what, let the witness answer. And then you can ask your follow-on.
I don't, my dilemma is that he's answering a different question. No,
Yes, no, so as you know, let the witness answer what you
and the
want.
discomfort there is because they are thinking for you.
Let him answer.
Experiment doesn't happen in normal life. Anyway, please answer.
Let him answer. We shall record his response. You can answer follow-on.
Okay.
The demonstration.
Immediately you pull and release.
A bullet is
That's
chambered.
chamber.
That's chamber.
Yes, Chair.
Okay?
And then it closes.
Yes.
Now you can ask your follow-on.
So if you try to pull again, there will be no dark space. The bullet will just fall out and another one will end.
That is true.
So after chambering, if you pull again,
Very good.
now becoming a gun.
He was just creating the first. If you
After
pull,
chambering
and if you try to pull again,
that's
one other, that other bullet will get out and another one will immediately get chambered.
That's true.
So at no yes, that's true. So at no space, at no point do you have an empty space to insert that pen.
You don't.
So we don't have it. No further question.
So after chambering and pulling,
Again,
pull it.
another one will jump out, another one will immediately end. And my last question then, you would have no space to insert that pen which you put. And he said you would. And no further question.
The purpose of the demonstration.
No, we are done. I don't we are done. Go and explain it outside.
One question.
Off record, Mr. Whoever was about counsel.
Danger.
Thank God the gun was not in
Maybe we can't do this.
with a bit of passion, the way you passion, no, as opposed to worry. My lord, we were requesting for 10 to 15 minutes and we press our witness and share our witness.
Ikiwa nikigenda maiso babaire nibakakuza ono ali hano Derek nti ripoti yaheerize akagihayo nka akagihayo nka ballistic analyst atali omulimu gwakola nga firearms officer ati bamukaguza bw'alaba amanyirewo ha bintu byebinkumu bw'alaba akola hali ezo ripooti yagamba atali niwe egyo ripooti yebinkumu department ebikolaho department endi bageta department ya criminal identification kandi tasobola kumanya sample zikwingana ki ezeetagisa kukola report eno kandi nawe akaba takimanyireho nti osobola kwihaho ebinkumu hali egyo kate yagambire gengu eba negumangana nokozesa makineti oba osobola okukozesa hariho ekintu ekibeeta silicon nakyo osobola kukozesa kwihaho ebyo ebinkumu hamundu ebyo kandi nababaire atamanyireho nti ebinkumu bikayihibwaho omugenzi hatanga babaire nibagezaho okumwolekya nti emundu eno eina emyanya ebiri eri rough emyanya eri rough hati ogolo yabaire nagezaho okumwolekya nti emundu eno bwoba ogikwasire ebinkumu bino bina amyanya nyingi hali bikusobola kugenda nikyo kibabaye nibamwolekya bamugamba ngu nibamwolekya nti magazine eba smooth eba neserera kandi eina kuba etekebwamu nebinkumu ati bagamba ngu kyemba eno bwoba omazire kusika kyemba esasi obwokusika okasigazayo esasi limu ligulukamu erindi nilitaahamu ate nikyo babaire nibagezaho okumugamba ngu hali abairege natwolekya ngu obwo bitaisura nka peni kwebairege esisikaire tikuli nikwo kiba esasi lindi liba nilisobola kutaahamu so tiharoho egyo space yabagenda yokya ngu peni hali kusobola genda egyo space tehoho nikyo babaire nibagezaho okutwoleka ogwo omwanya tigulo peni hali kusobola genda kuba already hakuba haliwo esasi. I'm proposing that we have an early break because if we follow in very next 15 minutes, we'll be coming to close to 12:30, and we have an early break and we start earlier. So we can say 1:30. 1:30.
kantu akayingiramu laptop yange